Indeed, as promised, political analyst Opiyo Owidi is in studio just to join me to take us through the life and times of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. He's been called the Enigma, the father of politics. And so, welcome to the studio, Opiyo Owidi.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's an honor being here, especially to talk about an enigma.
Exactly.
To talk about a man that made some people tremble in his presence. That is an honor.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for bringing me here.
Thank you so much, Opiyo. And I don't even know where we can start, because the man that Raila Odinga embodied, is larger than life. Even in his death, we can see what has happened today. And but let's begin by just, how did you receive the news of Raila's death?
Before I even get there, the last time I made a physical contact with Raila Odinga was on the 7th of September, the day we had the red moon, the day also that the former minister Dalmas Otieno died. He came to the home of Dalmas Otieno and found that I was already there. And we had a greeting, and I noticed he had aged, because for 2 years we had not made contacts. I did not expect Raila Odinga to pass on at the time he did, because I knew he was so unwell. Even on the date we were burying Dalmas, he did not attend. And it occurred to me that he was most likely not well. But being unwell is a common thing with everyone, everywhere. And I did not expect him to go too soon. Many people also did not even know he was unwell. So I was here at KBC, English Service Radio. And I noticed I was getting too many calls, because I normally place my phone just in front of me. And I was wondering, what is the problem? Of course, I ignored them. Sometimes when you're in the station, people just call you, they think it is necessary. But then when I saw my family members also call me, then I wanted to take a break when we went into an advert. But when I looked at the phone, I found 2 messages saying that was the message. Actually, those 2 wanted to confirm if it really true. When I checked around, I found it was the message. And I have never been so shocked in a long time. Because if there was somebody I did not expect to go too soon, it was Raila Odinga. He was a sportsman and always was very strong. And I had just made a prayer for him a few days earlier when people were saying he's not well. And I expected, like all other prayers I've made for him and everyone else before, that he would continue living. So for a moment, I did not believe that true Raila Odinga is gone. To me, he was larger than life. And I was wondering what would happen without Raila in this country. Because majority of my proper adult, you are adult at 18, but proper adult life, I've always known Raila Odinga to be there, to say what I would ordinarily be the one to say, or anybody else would say. Raila Odinga would be ahead and would defend us, would talk for us, would demand for us, would help make laws for us. And I do not know if there would be anybody with large enough feet to fit in issues.
Indeed, Owidi, as you say. And just as you've said that it will take quite a lot, and I'm not so sure also whether there's going to be anybody who could actually fit into his shoes. He was a special person, or a special human being for that matter. And today's events just goes to show that there was something special about, Raila Odinga. Did you expect things to turn out the way they turned out?
Actually, if you looked at my Facebook post, I said we all underrated how popular Raila Odinga was. Even people who really believed in him, even people who are closer to him than anyone else, what they saw today is not what they believed would happen. I didn't believe it, because people were ready to die. They were ready to lose a limb here and there just to have a glimpse of their hero. Even the people who were arranging all this underrated the popularity, underrated the crowd to expect. And not just the crowd, the resolve of the crowd to get near. So I think what happened today must have surprised each and every one of us, because you could see from the evidence of they were arranging smaller places when he needed bigger places. They were arranging shorter times when he needed more time. Mm-hmm. They were arranging faster movements, slower movements when he needed faster movements. Mm-hmm. So I think the whole country, we underrated this man. This man was larger than even what he thought he was. Mm-hmm. Raila Odinga is one person who never became president of the Republic of Kenya. But he was the most powerful person in this country for the last 2 decades. Mm-hmm. You would be the president, but if you wanted things to go a certain way, it will go. Mm-hmm. You would be the president. If you wanted somebody out of government, he would be out. Yeah. Even if it meant getting to the streets to get him out. Mm-hmm. He was powerful. Yeah, in and outside, of government. But just I think they underestimated what they knew probably, from his campaigns and even how he organized events, very many people came out. But I think, like you said, they underestimated the resolve of the people to get near the coffin just to confirm for themselves that indeed he's no more. And I think the emotional thing here is that everybody feels lost, just like you've said. You wonder what Kenya will be without Raila. It's the same thing that Kenyans are feeling right now. It is that majority of us have a poor analysis system. For example, during the last protest, I heard people saying, these ones are larger than what Raila used to call. But they forgot how he used to do it. Yes. For him, Raila would just say, on this date, we are protesting. Mm. But the protests that we saw were mobilized on social media, every end of the country. Everybody talked about, we are having a protest on Sabasaba, on what. That is when people appeared on the streets. But Raila Odinga would just announce that on these days we have a protest. And the streets will be full in Migori, in Kisumu, in Kwale, and everywhere else in the country. So I think that is where people failed to analyze his ability, analyze his popularity, and analyze his command for the people who believed in him. They would follow him wherever he goes, whatever he does. And you notice that today, everybody, friends and foe, were unhappy, were sad at his death. Exactly. Because people do not also realize that if you were a great man, you are great even to your enemies you are a great man. If they want to deal with you, they deal with you as such, a great man. If they want to fight you, they need to look for very large weapons. So I have heard some people saying, this so-and-so is now saying Raila was a great man and he didn't like him. He's saying he's a good man and he liked. It doesn't matter whether you liked him or not. Yeah. If he's a great man, he's great. He's a great man, yeah. And whether you didn't like him, say the truth, say he was a great man. Indeed, and questions still abound also as to how things will be handled from here. Probably we're talking about that after our break. We're just about to take a break. But so what does this inform the organizers? I'm sure they were caught off guard, but starting tomorrow when they have the requiem service and moving on all the way to the time of the burial, we will be able to see probably some changes happening there. Absolutely. But let's take a break right on there, and then we'll be back to talk about it. So stay with us as we continue this analysis. Thank you for staying with us. We are in studio with Opiyo Owidi. He's a political analyst, just taking us through, the times and life of Raila Amolo Odinga, who passed on yesterday as we received the news. And so we continue the analysis and just talking about the man that embodied so much for Kenyans, hope. Talk about change. That is what he embodied for Kenyans. And so that void is going to stay with Kenyans for a long time until they probably can actually have somebody whom they can look up to. But at this moment, most Kenyans feel like they're lost and all that. And so the reason as to why, I think, personally, that 72-hour, in his will that he said he should be buried within the 72 hours of, his demise. Why do you think, if anything, if you could, just try to read his mind,
72 hours?
I want to believe that Raila Odinga knew what to expect in the country if he dies. Assuming that Raila Odinga was to stay for another, Kenya will be at a standstill. Nobody would want to go to work. People would now begin traveling from the countryside to come to Nairobi to demand to see him. So I think he didn't want a lot of disruptions. And I remember we spoke with him before Dalmas was buried. And it was clear that he did not like things that take long. He was not happy that Dalmas was taking long before burial, but he did not have the power to change anything or demand to change anything. So I think it is out of goodwill that he wanted his burial to move so fast. But incidentally, as I was coming here, I was chatting with my driver, and it was like, did I hear that the body will move from the Kisumu International Airport to Bondo by road? Are they serious?
Yes.
From what we have seen today,
yes,
they must change that. Actually, he needs to be airlifted to Bondo. And I've been to his home in Bondo. Definitely, when Oburu announced that we are going to have a private graveside ceremony, he meant the space cannot fit the crowd he saw here. But I noticed some people were already complaining that he was a public man and everything must be public. Again, sometimes space don't allow us, and we must accept that fate. Anybody who wants to be by the graveside can return there after the burial, 2 days, 3 days, a few months. But having everybody by the graveside will not be possible. And again, even by the Luo customs, only a few people are normally by culture allowed to throw the soil back to soil. So we don't have to all go there. The ceremony will take place at the university site, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And I think the distance is also good enough to filter out people who ordinarily are not supposed to go to the home. And unknown to many people, there is the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga home, and there is Raila Amolo Odinga home.
Yes.
In the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga home on the side is where they have the family graveyard. And that is where everybody is buried. Jaramogi is there, the late Fidel is there, and Raila Odinga's stepmoms and moms are also there.
Okay.
So that is where they expect for him to be interred. Of course, many people have been saying, oh, that is not Luo culture. But culture is dynamic.
It's dynamic. And talk about Luo culture. In essence, the 72 hours back then would not have been allowed in the Luo culture. A man of, Raila's stature, it could have taken longer than that. But yes, things have changed. And even as I was asking my colleague, why do you think they changed the burial site from where he would have wanted to be buried? And now the family saying he'll be buried next to. Could that also be something to do with culture?
72 hours is very many days. If you divide that by 24, I think, is it 3 days?
Yeah.
It's 3 days, and I think that was the minimum allowed in Luo land, because there was this idea that the body had to stay overnight at his home. That is what brought those days. But it is possible, I think, we used to bury people faster. What has delayed burials these days is the collections, because we have made burials be very flamboyant ceremonies where people even feast and entertain themselves and all that. But ordinarily, I remember my father was buried after very few days, long away in 1975 when he was a young boy. So I think that is in order. But again, the modern cultures, especially people who have seen light, the way I want to call it, they have changed very many things. Even the way people build in homes.
Yes.
Yeah. Ordinarily, Raila Odinga should have been buried right in his home, not in his father's home. But because they had made that as a graveyard, I remember recently we buried another prominent person, Dalmas Otieno Nyango. Even him, he has a graveyard in his place where each and every person there gets buried. And this is something that he used to preach from time immemorial, that it will reach a time that land will be so scarce. So if you go planting graveyards all over the homes, it's not a good thing. In fact, even preach that in the future, even homes would be the style we have today of affordable housing, where people live communally, so that everything is provided communally, be it water, security, electricity, and even the road networks. Okay. So that is what is happening now, and I think even as the Luo, we are changing.
Yeah, things are really, really changing. And talking about, even just the demise of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the impacts it will have in the political scene, because, like you said, people are not expecting this news. We didn't really know whether he was ailing, or for that matter. I was talking to some of my friends and like, he should have given us time, a little bit of time to just get accustomed to the fact that something is happening and so prepare us. But what is the impact of his demise in the political scene?
That is the bombshell that awaits very many people. That is the bombshell. And even from today, I kept my eyes on the screens and on online blogs, and I could see the jostling, especially from leaders coming from Luoland. There was a lot of jostling. There was a lot of, I want to be seen, I want to be heard. And I think as soon as Raila Odinga will be buried, there will be the scramble for the Luo loyalty. And it was a good thing, I don't know who thought about it, that they need to coronate Dr. Oburu immediately to be the party leader of ODM. Because somebody else would have tried to purport to be there, and that would have brought a lot of friction. You know, Oburu is a person who no longer have any future ambitions. And he's not divisive. Oburu has never been divisive in his life. He's somebody who embraces everybody, friends and foe. So I think that was a good choice for now, and it is going to streamline how things are done going forward. Considering that in Raila Odinga's party, or the majority of those leaders, if not all, have been appointed into those positions. Now, when Raila Odinga is not there, the person whose word was final, who else can they put there whose word will be final? So that is the problem we have. But if we do not take care as a people, there's also going to be a problem of Luoland being split into multiple corners, like I see in the current Luoland, where somebody has a piece of the community in his corner. But I think the best thing that would happen, if we as a community would accept probably to take President William Ruto as the new acting kingpin of the Luo, it would be a good thing, because he's a person as large as Raila Odinga. But these other people, you will see a war you've never seen before.
Well, we wait to see how things will pan out. And just talking about and how he was able to, bring that community, particular community, the Luo community, together and just chart the way for them. And right now, that we would say in quotes is in vacuum, but of course Oburu Odinga having taken over, the reins of the ODM party in itself to give direction. When Raila joined the broad-based government, he was vilified for it. And so maybe today he was absolved, because people talked, but the turnout today showed that whichever way he made decisions, people loved them.
We must give it to Raila Molo. His is hereditary. They always come to the rescue of Kenya when people expect Kenya to tear themselves apart. It began all the way at independence. It took Raila Odinga's father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, to say that I want Kenyatta to be the president. Do you know, at that point in time, if Jaramogi did not do that, then everybody else was expecting Jaramogi and Kenyatta to fight over that position. But if the person who had the first chance to that position is the one who gave it away, who are you to start fighting for that position? So that was in 1963, Uko. Came forward to the time immediately after President Daniel Arap Moi. It took Raila Odinga, who was also a presidential candidate, who had run for that seat even before, to step back and say, Kibaki tosha. He saved Kenya a vicious battle in politics at that point in time. And Kibaki sailed easily to the presidency because it was a landslide.